Demons. Dinoni. Demons is an Italian horror movie from 1985, lasts about an hour and a half, and it is gory. It's definitely gory. And it is rubbish. It's not rubbish. This is one of my favourite movies growing up. One of my favourite horror movies. Yeah, really? Yeah. That explains a lot. Give us a tagline. They will make cemeteries their cathedrals and tombs your city. Creepy stuff. No, it doesn't make sense. It does, just leave it. So a quick synopsis for this movie. It's an Italian horror movie set inside a movie theatre where the events of the movie kind of predict what is going to happen to the patrons of the cinema. A cut from a certain artifact leads to someone becoming a demon. That demon then starts to attack others and in doing so infects them, making them demons.
You know how it goes.
Do you want to give a synopsis? Yeah. Dog nudie, loads of blood, loads of guts, disgusting, and just weird. It's not weird. Let's get into it. The movie opens with, oh, wait, one thing I'll say. Yep, it's got an amazing soundtrack. The soundtrack is surprisingly good for an Italian horror movie. Yeah, it's like Billy Idol and gore-fest and Rick Stringfield, all these big names. Great songs. That's true. I'm glad you found a positive. I have to take them where I can get them. So the movie opens with a young lady, Kathy, on a train. She comes off the train and through the subway she is being followed. Yeah, there's a guy, right, he's got a crazy half mask. It's like Phantom of the Opera thing, except it's Nettle. Yeah, it's a bit weird and he's a bit creepy. And he's following her. She runs away and then she realises he's not following her. He's just heading the same way and he's approaching everyone with free cinema tickets.
Poor guy.
Well, she's quite, you can't be too careful. Anyway, she gets a free cinema ticket and then says, do you know what, can I have another one for my friend? And then she says, are you wearing that mask because of the movie? Yeah, and the guy just looks at her and walks away. That's Cheryl. Cheryl goes and meets her friend Kathy. They're supposed to be going somewhere, do something for someone. I can't really figure out what. Yeah, they just start slagging off this old lady.
Buckles is just gonna go blow her stack again. She'd scream at us even if we were early. Ah, look what I was given. What do you say we go and forget about Miss Buckles? Sometimes you really worry me, Cheryl.
And then they decide, let's just go to the cinema. So they do, they go to the cinema. As they enter the cinema, we get to meet some other patrons. Yeah, there's this old guy right in his credit. He's really, really just angry all the time. Him and his wife, he's like, what do you want from me? I brought you out to another anniversary. What else do you want?
This is our anniversary.
So what? I'm taking you to a show. What else do you want?
And then I see this guy, Tony. He's cool. Tony, he seems to be a pimp, and he's got two of his female co-workers with him. We also see a blind guy and his daughter, I think it's his daughter, I think so, Liz, and she's horny. Right, okay, we'll get to that. And we see a lovely young couple. Yeah, Hannah and Con. They're so young and in love. I'm sure they'll have a happy ending. Not! But most importantly, we meet our protagonists in the movie. We've met Cheryl and Kathy, and they bump into these two other guys who instantly start hitting on them. This is George and Ken, and they also decide to sit together in the theatre. Wait, there's another character he didn't mention. Who? Oh, the stewardess. There's like a hostess in the cinema who goes around telling people you can't smoke here, don't touch this, don't touch that, the movie's about to begin. And she's like so easel seeming. No, it's just confusing acting. It is a bit confusing because every time I watch this movie I think, oh, she's in on it. She's one of the bad people. But no, she's just a bit strange. Before the movie begins though, we also see a display in the cinema lobby. Yeah, this is a motorbike, right? Try to kill motorbike. On top of the motorbike there's a samurai sword for some reason. And there's a mask. Yeah, this crazy looking mask, right? It's cool. It's made of metal. It's pretty cool. Anyway, one of Tony's friends picks it up and starts playing around with it. Yeah, and when she takes it off, she cuts her face.
Ow! My face!
What kind of mask is that? I don't know, but shouldn't have been touching it. Everyone goes inside and the movie begins. Yeah, instantly you know it's a horror. They start talking about, in the movie, the acting is worse than in this movie.
That's a big claim.
Watch this.
No, just a second. It says here that demons are instruments of evil.
Trick or treat.
Don't do that.
How do I look?
Whoever wears it becomes a demon.
How do you know?
It says here, whoever wears it becomes a demon.
Basically what's happening in the movie is a group of young people go into a graveyard and they find Nostradamus's grave. Yeah, so they decide, let's open it up.
They did what?
They do, and they find a mask and a book, and one of the lads puts on the mask. Yeah, and when he takes it off, he cuts his face. And when that happens in the movie, Rosemary, the lady whose face was cut earlier, her cut starts throbbing a bit, so she goes to the bathroom to try and clean it up. She gets to the bathroom, it fills with tuss and tots. Look away if you're squeamish. It's disgusting. While everyone else is watching the movie, yeah, and really overreacting to a standard horror movie, Tony sends his other friend to go and find Rosemary, and she does. And Rosemary is a horrific demon now. She chases her friend and tears her and scratches her. Yeah, and she's got like slime coming out her mouth and all this stuff. But then she just leaves her alone. Why? Well, I think she's infected her. Oh yeah. So the friend with big scratches on her neck runs around the cinema disorientated, trying to find help. She finds herself behind the screen of the cinema. Yeah, this is pretty cool. She's like pressing against it, screening, and someone in the audience, Cheryl, I think it might be Cheryl, she's going, oh, those screens sound real. Someone's behind there. Help them. And everyone around her's going, it's just a movie, calm down. But eventually this young lady bursts through the cinema screen and the movie stops. And everyone is like, oh my goodness. And Cheryl's like, see, tell ya. Now just before this, the blind man is sitting up the back of the cinema with his daughter, and she's telling him everything that's happening on the screen. And then some weirdo guy comes and sits beside her and just starts snogging her. And then Rosemary, the demon, she comes up and takes a bit of cord from the cinema and strangles them both to death. Yeah. And they're still kissing while they're being strangled. True love. But back downstairs, Ken says to George, George, look at her fingernails. Yeah, and her fingernails, right, they start to grow and they start to stretch, and it's like claws come bursting through her existing fingernails. It's disgusting. And her teeth, do the same. Her teeth are too out there like big sharp teeth. It's horrible. This movie's terrible. This movie's great. And then after her new teeth and her new nails have grown in, she jumps off the stage and attacks the angry man. Yeah, she tears his throat out.
How lovely.
And then it's chaos. Everyone runs away all through the cinema, trying to find places to hide, trying to find the exits. Yeah, the exits are all blocked off though. There's no escape. There's no escape. So Tony says, let's go to the projection booth and smash it up. And when they do, they realise there's no one there. It's automated. So they smash everything up, and the movie on the big screen starts. And the blind man gets it as well at this point. Yeah, a demon comes and pokes its fingers in his eyes. How ironic. But yeah, the movie has stopped playing. Yeah, and on screen, right, I thought this movie's broken. I thought someone sold us a dodgy copy. I know exactly what we're going to say, because I thought this when I first watched the movie, and the next couple of times I watched the movie. The movie stops playing, and on the big screen it says Cine Trino Tento, Fine Primo Tempo. And then it just cuts to a totally different movie. You think it does. It cuts to another scene. It's a bunch of young punks driving around in a stolen car, taking drugs. Yeah, what's going on? Well, I've never found out what those words actually mean. I've never found out why they're in that movie. But I've watched the Blu-ray of this movie. I've watched the online version. And I watched it on VHS tape many times. And every version has this Fine Primo Tempo text. It's so weird. It's so confusing. Especially when it just cuts straight to another scene after that looks like a different movie. Anyway, these punks, yeah, the driver, he looks like Sylvester Stallone. He looks like a cut price Sylvester Stallone, I guess. He and his friends are approached by the police and they decide to drive off. Yeah, a little bit of a car chase here. And then they see back inside the cinema and Tony and everyone else is like, we destroyed the projection booth, that's the movie over. Will this madness end now? Not, because this movie's nonsense. No. The blind man appears and he says, it's not the movie that's a problem, it's this theatre. It's evil. It killed my little girl Liz. And they start snatching at all the chairs and everything. They basically tear out all the chairs and build a barricade at the door. Yeah. Wait, see the blind guy that warned them? It's not the movie, it's the theatre.
It's not the movie. It's not the movie. It's the theatre.
Yeah. Hasn't he already been turned into a demon? Oh, good point. He's already been attacked by it. Why is he not? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The small things matter. Listen, this movie's great. Sure. So having built a barricade, the patrons of the cinema think, there must be a way out. Let's find another way out. And then there's a little strange scene where they go into this room and it's just brick walls. 3 brick walls facing them. And they get the camera going along the brick walls. And then they get like some amateur dramatic level acting when they're all panicking. It's a strange scene. It doesn't seem to fit with the rest of the movie. The movie doesn't seem to fit with the movie. Back outside the theatre we see Sylvester Stallone. Well, they look alike. You see the punks being chased by the cops on foot. One of the cops are ready to shoot them dead. Then the other guy says, don't worry, run up a blind alley. Yeah, it seems like a dead end. The punks are all like, oh, we're trapped, what are we going to do? And then suddenly a door next to them opens. It's the door to the movie theatre. So they all run in there and hide. The cops follow into the alley and they're like, where did they go? And then they see the blind man, who is somehow outside the theatre. And also, one of the cops tries to shoot him, just shoots his fingers off. Disgusting. Tom and Hannah, remember them? The young ladders. They decide, let's go into the air vents and sneak away. They do that. So they're crawling through the air vents, and then Tom starts to hear scratching, like big long demon nails scratching on the metal surface beneath him. Yeah. And he's like, oh my goodness, it's getting closer, I can hear it coming up behind us.
Wait, what was that noise?
What noise?
And then they turn a corner and he's like, oh my goodness, I can hear it, it's in front of us.
Right, now it's in front of us. That's impossible. Can't be.
And then he's like, oh, it's behind us again. How's this possible? It's in front of us again. This can't be happening. And then Hannah turns round and she's a demon. She attacks him. Ah, young love. It's around here we're treated to one of the greatest visual scenes in cinematic history. You're joking, right? No, see when the demons are running up the stairs, their eyes are all glowing, there's light behind them. So everyone inside the theatre is sitting, thinking, what are we going to do? And then they start to hear some banging at the barricade. Yeah, so they think, oh, let's tail-attack the barricade.
That was really stupid.
And as they do, demons literally tot out like Jack and the Ducks. Meanwhile, George, Ken, Kathy and Cheryl find a little corridor to escape down. So they sneak off while everyone else is fighting for their lives. Thanks for your help, guys. Well, they sneak off, and when they get through to another room, they find Kathy isn't feeling too good. No, she's all sweaty and stuff. And she's clearly turning into a demon. Like, clearly. That George says,
Maybe she's in shock.
Kathy turns into a demon right enough and starts to attack. Ken takes the cover off a vent like a grate, like a big sheet of metal, and starts smashing Kathy with it. Kathy falls to her knees, falls on all fours, and then her back opens up. Now this is pretty cool visual effect, because you can see her whole body, and something crawls out her back. I don't know why this happened. That doesn't happen to anyone else who gets demonized. That something literally crawls out her back. Like this big monster thing. It takes a swipe at Ken, and then just leaves. It just like runs off, sideways like a crab, smiling at us. It's terrible. It's not terrible. This is so bad. It's not so bad. It's just, it doesn't look great. The whole movie doesn't look great. The whole movie looks fantastic. We find out they're actually back in the lobby, And Ken says, well, that demon thing got me. It scratched me. It means I'm going to turn into a demon pretty soon. George, take this samurai sword off this bike and cut my head off with it, please. So George is like, no. Okay. Well, no, he waits until Ken turns into a demon, and then he does indeed slice his head off. When he swings the sword, Cheryl turns away. She can't look. She steps through the curtain back into the theatre. Yeah, and she's faced with 3 other demons. To avoid them, she runs into the theatre a bit more, and it looks like they're closing in on her. It's all over for Kathy. No, because George comes in on an Otterdike swinging a samurai sword. What? How did that Otterdike even have petrol in it? Pretty cool scene of George driving through the movie theatre, slashing away at demons with a samurai sword, saving Kathy. What a hero he is. But it seems like he's taken out almost all the demons in the theatre. He and Kathy think about how they're going to get out of here, that they don't have to worry too long, because for no reason at all, a helicopter falls from the sky, right through the roof of the cinema, just avoiding them. Yeah, they're very lucky. A bit too lucky. Yeah, it seems like the helicopter pilot has maybe been turned into a demon, or attacked by a demon, or how did this happen? When I was sitting this near the theatre, how did the demons get to a helicopter? I don't, look, it doesn't matter, and how did it just happen to land right in that near the theatre? I don't know, man. Right, listen, don't worry about it. I do worry. Well, don't. George gets into the cockpit, yeah, because apparently knows what controls work a helicopter. Well, he can't fly it anyway because it's too damaged. He starts up the rotor blade, and a few other demons approach, and they get their heads sliced off for their trouble. So they can't fly the helicopter, but there is a hole in the roof now, so they decide, let's climb up. Climb up to the roof. Just as they're about to get to the roof, guess who's there? Hey, the guy with half a mask from the train station. Yeah, he's actually evil. He's in on it. Maybe it's all him. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what part he plays. No, because this nearly doesn't make sense. So first of all, George has to fight to get on the roof to get past this guy, and then he has to fight him to the death. Yeah, he fights him to the death, alright. George takes this guy and thrusts his head first onto a nettle stake. On the roof of the cinema, George and Cheryl see that there are demons taking over all parts of the city. They manage to make it to the street, it's chaos, they manage to avoid demons, and eventually a jeep rolls up, right? And it's a jeep that, like, this guy, his teenage daughter, and a young boy, and they're like, hey, get in. Yeah, they say they're heading west. They've seen some lights in the sky. There might still be a way out of this. So Cheryl and George get on the jeep, and that, I have to tell you, this jeep is filled with terrible actors. Like, really bad.
Welcome aboard. There are more weapons on the floor.
The country. Just a second. Hey, Dad. Dad, I want to know where we're going.
As far from here as possible. West. We saw some lights in the sky.
They start to drive off, music plays, credits roll. Yeah, but that's not all. After about 3 minutes of credits, we see Cheryl, and she's a demon. She turns to George. George is like, and then the little boy shoots her with a shotgun, leaves her on the road to die. Yeah, she is a goner. That's the last thing we see of the movie, Cheryl's body lying on the road. And then we get credits with the greatest music ever. Really? No, actually, the music is pretty cool. Listen to this. I love this. And that's the end. That's Demons from 1985. Absolute gory trash. It's not gory trash. I bought this movie for 50 pence from a dodgy guy selling dodgy videotapes. Really? Yep, we'll watch it one day soon. Not a dodgy market when I was about 12. Really? Yeah. And I watched it again and again and again. And then I watched Demons 2 again and again and again. We will Oh, give me a break, not soon. Okay, well, not straight away. Anyway, trivia? Go for it. In Germany, this movie was released as Demons 2. It was a sequel. What was the sequel to? Demons 2. They just released in reverse order. Alright, okay, that makes sense. Not really. No. Anything else? The name of the cinema, the Metropole, can be seen in the video game Silent Hill. A little nod to this classic? Yes, it is a classic. Anything else? Well, it's not really trivia. That anyone with a half a brain would say, let them just keep watching the movie. If you're in that situation, in the movie theatre where things in the movie are happening in real life, just watch the rest of the movie to see how those people get out of it. See what you can do. Oh yeah, they should have watched the rest of the movie. Yeah. Anyway, that's Demons. One of my favourites. Really horrible movie. It's not horrible. We'll see you next time. Hit like, hit subscribe, watch another video. Nostradamus.